What is going on, y'all? This is the K Fan. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 41 of Against the Blitz. Another deep dive episode because we are deep in the offseason and we're very, very thrilled to be doing episode 41 with a very special guest of ours. Tag, we are here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm sure if you watch us, you are probably familiar with Tag and his content, but why don't you kind of break it down where they can find you, what you talk about regularly? Introduce yourself.
Absolutely. First things first, though, as a recent college graduate, I'd like to shout out all the unemployed people out there. It's a hard life we all live. Yeah. And so, I stand in solidarity as a fellow unemployed person. But yeah, it's Taggart Kent everywhere. I have the luxury of having like a unique name, so I don't have to have any special ads, just my full name, TAGGARTKENT. I talk football like these lovely gentlemen to my left. I unfortunately am a fan of the Cowboys, as we'll talk about today.
Yes, we do have a lot of fun questions and conversation ahead for today's episode. So
it's like everybody has that around the Cowboys. Fun questions.
Yeah, it's kind of more fun than I thought, honestly. Like I don't think I paid attention to them at all offseason. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable moves, a lot of waiting around doing nothing, and a lot of making moves late that George Pickens, shout it down.
Hey, yeah,
may make a difference.
Yeah. So like the way we kind of go about this, if you're new here, we kind of go position by position. We talk about some of the big moves, some of the more underrated moves, and we kind of just talk about if the position and the team got better from the offseason.
Before we continue, though, I forgot to do this last episode. We have a Discord server. We want to keep gassing it up. So join it down in the description. We have a lot of non-football conversation in there and football if you're into it. So you can join that down in the description. It's a fun time. So you're encouraged to.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in there. I gotta click that link.
Yeah.
Just like all of you should.
Yes.
In the bio below.
It's you enjoy it in there, honestly. There's a lot of just bullshit that goes on. Like cheese and pizza conversation.
And cheese and tacos.
Yes.
Hey. Well, to start it off, we have the quarterback position. And aside from Dak Boobscott, we got the better quarterback, Joe Milton.
Yes.
It's in the building.
I
guarantee by week 6, there's going to be a lot of calls for Joe Milton to start, regardless of how good Dak does. It actually doesn't matter. It's just going to be Joe Milton starting.
Absolutely. That's the way a lot of trolls on Twitter would like it. As the Zach Pickscott, they like to call him. LaShawn McCoy said, start looking at real estate agents. It's time to move. You'll be a Cleveland Brown next year, buddy. They wanted you this year. So get ready to learn that. I actually, for the first time since I've been watching the Cowboys, have felt like if Dak goes down, and whether that be with injury or maybe there's, some kind of contract holdout, which I guess won't happen anytime recently, that it's not like completely hopeless. It's honestly like Romo at the end of his career, where there's a guy behind him where there's at least like some upside, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like maybe there have been some injury things, obviously, with Dak over the last couple of years. He can't seem to stay on the field for 17 games outside of 2023. And the quarterbacks we've had, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, haven't given you much hope if he does go down. And at least with Joe Milton, it's like the mystery box. It's like, hey, well, this dude has a strong arm. He's a good athlete. He looked good in week 18 last year. Maybe there's something there. It's not completely hopeless. It's probably there won't be much hope because I unfortunately had the displeasure of watching Joe Milton play at Tennessee. But, it's at least, it's not guaranteed that the team will suck. Maybe he turns. Who knows?
I mean, like, not to get into it too early, but like he has this pretty stacked receiving core. Like there is a chance that he could be the best quarterback of all time.
Exactly.
He throws it really far. Yeah. Did you know that?
That's really all you need.
Did you know he throws it really far?
90 yards?
Really?
Well,
from his knees.
I honestly think that Joe Milton, on a dead ass serious note, is one of the most overrated, probably a top 5 overrated quarterback in the NFL somehow. He's played one game.
And it's
it's the people calling for him to start already. It's LaShawn McCoy. It's like Joe Milton shouldn't be overrated. Like we all know who Joe Milton is. Mm-hmm. Like he's not like you're not overrating him. I'm not overrating him. It's just like Twitter people, like you said. Like he's like
It comes with the territory of being a Cowboys
Yeah.
fan. It's no matter who's back there. It was Cooper Rush. It was Trey Lance. It was Ben DiNucci for a while. Like there's going to be stupid people in the fan base who are like, start him over Dak. Dak sucks.
Yeah.
Playoff games, bad.
Yeah, Cooper Rush almost beat my team, so I don't want to hear that name ever again.
I'm not liking the Cooper Rush slander around here, guys. Come on.
Why?
It's the best backup
He's taking the best backup
they've had. I'm taking Cooper Rush over Joe Milton, I think.
Unironically, the best backup we have had in the Dak era. And it's like, that's not saying much because it hasn't been exactly a good group that he's been a part of.
Give me the other ginger. Give me
Andy Dalton.
Give me Dalton. Give me Dalton, yeah.
He actually had a couple games that year Dak got hurt in 2020 where he was ripping it. I think there was one. Yeah, there was one game where he had like 350 yards. He was going crazy.
Damn.
He goes for a stretch every year for whatever team he's on, and he throws for like 300 yards in like 2 or 3 games. He's done in Carolina a couple times too already.
He's a killer. He's a madman.
I do want to
modern Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ask you, Tag. Do you fear with Brian Schottenheimer taking over that will be unretiring, let Russ cook, and passing it on to let Dak cook? Because, of course, Schottenheimer was the play caller when that was all going down in Seattle. So do you think that's something that could happen with obviously a high-octane passer like Dak?
There's 2 sides of this conversation for me. One is as Dak Prescott's my favorite player of all time. He's the one that got me into football. And so from that perspective, let the dude rip it 40, 50 times a game. Give me an MVP. Give me 5 years of 4,500 plus yards. Let's get this man in the Hall of Fame. All right, let's stat pad back half of the career and just get him all the accolades he needs. But from the Cowboys winning perspective, no, that wouldn't be great. I've been a huge component that people have done a great job. There's a tweet that said this. People have done a great job of complicating the game of football. And, there are a lot of nuances, but winning in the trenches. If you can win in the trenches, that's how you're going to win football games. The Cowboys haven't been able to do that for the last couple of years. They haven't been able to run the ball and stop the run. Luckily, the way Schottenheimer is speaking, I think he's kind of learned from his mistake in Seattle. He's talked about trying to emphasize a balanced attack, one that's 50-50. I'd honestly prefer 60-40 in favor of the run. And they brought in Clayton Adams, who's the offensive line coach in Arizona, and they had a really good rushing attack, the top 5 in the league or something like that. And that's not like a great offensive line. They don't have Derrick Henry running the football back there. It's James Conner and like some pretty good players. It's just a lot of good coaching out there, I feel like. And I'm hoping they kind of bring that same philosophy that they had in Arizona, because that's a team that with Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., their tight end, whose name is escaping me, but he's really good, Trey McBride, they could throw the ball 40 times. They could be electric, but they've chose to be a more slowed down, balanced attack, and I think they've had more success than they otherwise would have because of that. And so I'm hoping that same philosophy comes to Dallas.
Yeah. Well, like speaking of, like Dallas at their best forever have been a run-heavy team. Like that's just who they are. But a lot of people are questioning who is that going to be this year? Like,
it's a good question.
Like, do you have a favorite? Do you have a guy you want getting heavy snaps?
I would prefer the rookies, just because. Again, I'm a big fan of the mystery box. Maybe Javonte Williams. I know he struggled with injury the past couple of years. Maybe he can come back and be productive like he was to start his career. But there's not a lot of hope. A lot of people like Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is a weird set of moves that they have felt in the draft that like confused me, because there was obviously, we're getting to it later, they drafted the guard in the first round that's more suited for a gap scheme. They brought in an offensive line coach to be their offensive coordinator who was majority gap scheme in Arizona. They brought in a tackle at the end of the draft who was gap scheme, and then they bring in Jaden Blue, who's like this was just strictly zone running back. So I don't really understand the direction there, but I've liked some of the things he does. He's the first explosive back we've had since probably 2021 Tony Pollard. So maybe, I guess he would be my favorite, but I don't think he gets a lot of run year one. Yeah. I'm not as high on like people.
I wasn't either. I liked the fit for him just because not because he fits the line, but just because he's just going to get opportunity. Like he's the only guy on that team I really want running a wheel route. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm excited for, the passing game attack with him. Yeah. There's a wheel route. I think it might be against Georgia where he runs it out and Quinn Ewers hits him in the pocket, and it's like a great catch. I'm excited for him in the passing game because he's actually not a terrible pass protector either. But there's not a lot of
it's just like
that rushing was.
The ball security, the power, the lack of experience. Like he wasn't even like their RB1 for a lot of the year. Like they rotated Wisner, Baxter, like they were kind of all over the place. So like we haven't seen a full run of Jaden Blue yet.
Yeah.
But like
there's also our 7th round pick,
Yeah.
Phil Maffa.
Hey, yeah.
Maybe he makes the team, maybe he doesn't. Big bruiser, might be a little more fitted for a gap scheme. Maybe they could be like a Thunder and Lightning down the line.
Yeah.
And get away from the unction that we have in Javonte Williams. And Miles Sanders.
I feel like Miles Sanders, I don't even know how safe he is, like, to make the squad.
Safe? He should be out of the league. Like, there's no reason he should even be rostered. I mean, I think you're right, Tag, in the sense that we should be seeing the run of the rookies in 2025.
Or
they are Thunder and Lightning, like you said.
A lot of my followers and fans and friends will hate me for not bringing him up immediately. Deuce Vaughn.
Oh, yes.
The future of the running back position.
The future. Yes.
Did you know he's cross-training as a wide receiver at this?
Is he? Is he trying to become the next Cavante Turpin? I have not seen that. Wow.
Well, he's all, and then he's cross-training as a running back.
I like the current Cavante Turpin, actually. Let's keep him doing what he's doing. But like,
I would like him to see him a little more involved. He looked pretty good when Dak was hurt with Cooper Rush. He had I think it was a slant that he took that house against maybe the Commanders. That, like, I see the vision, man. He just needs more opportunity.
He just needs to grow.
Yeah.
Like if he could just grow
bigger.
Yeah.
But however tall he is.
No, I mean, we can't have that though, because we can't take away Jalen Tolbert snaps. That just can't be a thing.
I think I'd rather have me out there running routes than Jalen Tolbert.
Not a Jalen Tolbert believer. Not a Jonathan Mingo believer.
That Jonathan Mingo trade might be the worst trade in the history of like my Cowboys fandom.
Yeah, it probably is up there.
Well, if you get the same capital for George Pickens.
Yeah, that's what I was like, there was another receiver that was traded for like the exact same thing. It's actually George Pickens. Like
I think Mingo was for a 4th.
Yeah.
And George Pickens was for a 3rd. So like relatively similar.
Dude. Mingo. I mean, it's probably because Steve Smith told them to. I remember he had him as like there's like wide receiver 3.
That dude loves everybody who puts on a Panthers uniform, though. The Panthers wide receiver. We see the bias, Steve. You're not hiding behind it.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy hates that guy.
Yeah, well, Jerry Jeudy blew up right in his face. So.
Yeah, he did.
Actually,
yeah, no. I think he was at that. Well, wasn't he at the game that Jeudy went off or something like that?
Oh, I think so. Actually,
I think something like that happened where he had a moment with Steve and kind of like said something.
Yeah,
because I don't think Jerry Jeudy deserved as much hate as Steve Smith threw his way.
No. But I mean, could we put Cavante Turpin over George Pickens? Possibly. Dude, I'm actually so excited. Like I am willing to draft Dak Prescott in fantasy for the first time. I had him a long time ago, but I'm willing to do it again. Because holy shit. This is going to be actually so much cooler than like people are even giving it credit for.
Oh yeah. And
I don't want to run the ball.
Exactly. I said like I want a balanced attack, and I do think that they're not going to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, but this is not going to be a team that runs the ball more than they pass. They're going to pass the ball a damn lot. I think we're going to see like beginning 2020 Dak numbers where he's just going insane because he's throwing the ball 40 times a game. I felt really poorly about the wide receiver room last year before we went into the year, which is funny because it's practically the same thing. You just added George Pickens, but adding George Pickens makes it so much more exciting and enticing to look at. Yeah,
there's a big difference between current day George Pickens versus current day Brandon Cooks. I think it's a humongous difference, and I don't know. I don't think people are giving the room enough credit for how much better they got.
And I saw a tweet from some YouTuber, and it kind of captures the way I feel a lot of people think of Dak as they think of him as rookie Dak. And he was like, man, does George Pickens fit? He's a downfield target. Dak doesn't throw those a lot. Yeah, Dak didn't throw those a lot 8 years ago. He loves his receivers. Think of Terrence Williams he went crazy with. He loved Michael Gallup. Pardon my language, the fucking guy still hangs out and treats Jalen Tolbert like he's going to be a future NFL star. He loves these weird dudes that are like not the best route runners, but you throw it up down the sideline, you give them a back shoulder fade, they're going to make something of it. And George Pickens is one of, if not the best in the league at doing that specific thing. So I think that's going to be a fantastic connection. I think he's a great fit with CeeDee Lamb as well.
I was a firm believer that they would have gone with Tat had he been available at 12. Like, I felt like I heard some report months and months ago that before Gallup officially came out of retirement, that they were like reaching back out to him or in touch with him. And I just remember how great he worked with that Cowboys offense. And it just felt like they wanted that piece again. And I feel like they were really missing it over these last few years. So I heard that and I'm like, well, if they're looking for that, then, Tet's probably the closest thing to it that they're going to get that could be a superstar, right? And then they don't get the opportunity to take him, and then they go and get Pickens. So they obviously were very much looking for that boundary presence to be that jump ball guy, because they haven't had it since Gallup, I would say, is the best one they've had.
Yeah, Gallup 1,000-yard receiving season with the Cowboys in 2019, I think. So
that guy had
incredible.
Might be 2021
boots, man. He could get up,
and he caught everything.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
good play.
And I feel like people are also forgetting CeeDee Lamb just had like one of the best receiving seasons ever. Like I feel like people just glossed over that. He had like 1,700 yards, like 13 touchdowns.
And that was with the first 6 weeks of that season, like Mike McCarthy being like, no, we're running the ball.
Yeah.
We're going to be a smash mouth football team. And then they figured out, oh, well, maybe we're not suited to do that. So just give
throw it. And like I keep seeing AJ Brown over him, and it just I'm fuming.
Puka Nakua over him. Love Puka.
That's bold.
That's monsters. Monsters.
Well, I think for
CeeDee Lamb's
CeeDee,
number 3.
Yeah, I mean, CeeDee, I think, is so unique because of how he can handle so much volume for a guy that can play basically anywhere. And he's a lot closer. I think AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb, I mean, that's a pretty close comparison. I don't think it's a clear Lamb 3.
It's so clear. Like, how much aura does AJ Brown have? AJ Brown is ugly.
CeeDee Lamb ugly.
CeeDee Lamb is hot.
I think AJ's ugly.
CeeDee Lamb is hot.
That dude's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Whoa, hey. All right.
I don't think he's ugly, though.
AJ Brown's not hideous. He's a good
man. There's some uglier guys.
There's a clear difference between, like, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes not an ugly man, but Joe Burrow.
Hey.
Yes, that's very true.
I'd hit it out of the park, no question.
Well, did you know that Jalen Tolbert, talking shit about him, actually led your team in touchdowns last year?
Unfortunately, yes, because I don't know why.
He had to. Because it was him or Mingo. like CeeDee Lamb was being quadruple teamed. So it was really, and playing in the backfield a lot. So like it was really
somebody
really
had to do it, right?
Right. Like somebody had to. It was Tolbert, or it was like Jalen Brooks.
Especially when you're playing with a quarterback that's like not gonna fit it in between 3 people like Dak will.
Right.
There's 2 options on the field here when you're Cooper Rush. Me and my mid-arm strength looking at CeeDee Lamb in between 4 people, or Jalen Tolbert one-on-one against the second best corner. Which one am I going with?
Yeah. He'll beat Benjamin St. Just every time. Idiot.
He did have a great catch, though, with Cooper Rush. I think it was against I keep saying the Commanders. I don't remember the exact game, but he like threw it up to him and snagged it with one hand. I was like,
see, he has it in him.
Yeah, maybe I should understand why Dak likes this guy so much.
Yeah, maybe it's Trayshawn Holden time. You never know. He just got baptized the other day.
Did he? Oh, yes. He did. I saw that. Go Ducks, by the way.
Yeah. I also keep forgetting about Jake Ferguson, honestly. Like, I feel bad because he's kind of pretty good, but I'm just like, I don't care because it's CeeDee Lamb, and that's where all my attention goes to. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's another guy that fits well with Dak, and like because Dak loves seam balls, and Jake Ferguson is like the perfect tight end for that. There's a corner of the fan base that really, really loves Jake Ferguson, and like I understand it. There's that one tweet where it's like, I find somebody who loves you like an NFL fan base loves their mid tight end. That's Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys.
It's like Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly like Pat Freiermuth. But there was like people hyping up like, oh, this is the next Kelsey. Well, I don't know if Jake Ferguson is quite that good, but he's fun player, hurdles people, which is, something tight ends don't normally do. Being fun it's a lot more than most of the Cowboys receiving options over the last couple of years have done. And so for that, I appreciate him, but I definitely don't think that's like a guy who is 1, like untouchable in trades, or 2, someone that they should probably extend. They should probably just
Yeah.
let that guy walk in the offseason because I think he's up for contract this season.
We
If
have
he comes back on like a team-friendly deal, though, fun player fits well with Dak, so I wouldn't be like, dang it, Jake Ferguson's back.
Yeah. It's Luke Schoonmaker time.
That I would hate to see get an extension.
Actually, it's
Well,
Brevin Span
there
Ford
we
time.
go.
Oh my God.
That's whose
gopher.
time it is.
That's what
It's
the wings-
6'7" in
gopher off my
line
field.
beast. That guy could be the perfect elite option up the side. No one's even expecting him to escape down the field. Like, talk about the seam ball guy. He's huge.
He's getting reps with the ones in training
Yeah.
camp or in
A lot of
OTAs.
positive
Princeton
reports about Brevin Span Ford. I've learned a lot about him over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Fun player.
I have.
He is cool. If he
Good
ever
blocker.
can actually like get out there, yeah.
I would like
Also,
to see him give up on the Schoonmaker experience and just him, Ford and Jake Ferguson. Ferguson be like the receiving option. Give it like a Pat Fryermuth, Darnell Washington kind of vibe there.
Yes. That's exactly
Well, I also
what I was thinking.
Found out that Schoonmaker is older than Jake Ferguson, which kind of
yeah.
threw me for a loop. That was
25
really weird.
years old when he was drafted, I'm pretty sure. He might have been
That's
like old
insane.
24.
Yeah, he's on his rookie deal and he's older than Jake Ferguson. That's so stupid. And Brevin Span Ford's like not far behind. He's like almost going to turn 26.
Yeah, but he's huge.
That's why it's Princeton fan time.
Princeton fans.
He's-
No,
You don't know
you
Princeton
gotta
fan? The
respect
Tennessee days?
respect BSF. That's what I'm gonna call
Is that what we're doing?
it. Yes, respect BSF. What's his what number is he?
Big sexy friend. I don't
think he's
I don't
85.
know what number.
Let me find out for you.
Not
my
for
89.
first.
Rose 89. BSF
It-
89.
Beach
Yeah,
ball, good.
it's how you know it's bad when I look at Brevin Span Ford and it's just college uniform pictures. That's how you know it's bad.
All right, well, he didn't get much race undrafted guy. Like, come on, we got to give him a little bit of love here. You're a
I
big
give
Mr.
him-
Draft guy. Let's give some love to an undrafted guys making the team.
I appreciate it.
Playing good
potentially
goals.
TE2.
What?
Potentially TE2.
Oh, potentially, yeah. Get Schoonmaker out of there.
Please. I'm begging you, Jerry.
Well, I mean, he
What
could
if we
be
run-
that red zone guy though?
Hey,
That size, they need something down there.
they
Well,
do.
Pickens, I guess, exists now, but
And
I'm also-
Jalen Tolbert.
And Jalen Tolbert. the blocking on this team's incredible. Like George Pickens, he's very lazy, but when he decides to, it's so much fun.
Likes to get
It's-
nasty.
yeah, it's like Jalen Warren. Like he's not actually as good as blocking as people think, but like the highlights are incredible. So like, yeah, that and the offensive line.
And-
I feel like we got an underrated group here.
I do. I also like Ryan Flournoy. I
Hey, yeah.
believe-
Shout out. Where'd he go? Like Southern Illinois or something stupid?
I think it's South Arkansas.
Probably.
Southeastern Missouri.
Oh
Close
yeah.
enough. Same kind of
Powerhouse.
region of the world. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
producing tons of NFL talent out there.
Yeah.
He routed up, I think it was Jack something, the corner for the Raiders in the preseason last year. And I was
No,
like, yep.
Jack Jones.
Yes, Jack Jones.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is the future.
hate Jack
this
Jones.
is the future. Criminal,
I don't
right?
even know
That
where
guy's
he
a
is.
criminal.
I have no idea. That might,
I
that's
think
a
he
bad
robbed
thing to assume.
someplace when he was with New England. Or am I thinking of a different JJ?
They had another like something Lucas. I don't know if that's like Chase Lucas. They both went to Arizona State. I have no idea. Yeah, like dude, I was going through. So for each team, I do a thing, and it's like I give a grade, like a positional grade, and like a roster cornerstone is like the hardest thing to reach, and I'm giving Tyler Smith that. Tyler Smith was one of my favorite film watches of the week. Holy shit.
It's a good take right there. I saw somebody with
I
a
love
top
it.
100 list, and he was at 98.
That's stupid.
Can we put some
That is-
respect on Tyler Smith, please?
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to drop somebody, you can drop Terrence Steele. But if you're going to.
San Antonio legend, though. Shirts, Texas. Shout out to him.
He was kind of better than
He was.
before.
I want to give him a lot of slack. First of all, hold on, though. We forgot Hunter Lipke, right? Let's show
Did
look
we?
to our fullback.
Well, he's a lock. He's just an automatic lock for the team. Everyone expects him to be around. He does his job. Kind of like, shows up on time,
Yes.
does his
First
job.
one in,
and
last one out kind of guy. Lunch pail
Yeah.
guy.
Date your daughter kind of guy.
He has a route against, I think it's Roquan. It might be Roquan or Trenton Simpson, which I guess if it's
Oh.
Trenton Simpson, not that good against the Ravens, where he like gives him a little shimmy, creates a little separation. Dak throws it to him, and he like mosses him on the
Look at
side.
that white boy move.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it was a real classic.
I'll
Hunter
never
Lipke
forget-
ball right there.
I'll never forget in the playoffs, when Justin Herbert threw a pass to Scott Matlock in the first
Oh my
quarter.
God.
And I like pissed myself. I'm like, who the fuck is this poor guy throwing to?
Yeah. He's actually 300 pounds.
Yes.
Patrick Ricard, we've gone over this. There's no way he's 300 pounds. But Scott Matlock actually is.
He definitely fits the bill.
Hunter Lupke's definitely not 300 pounds.
No. I think he might be like 260 something.
He's like $2.40. Yeah.
240. 240.
Yeah.
Even I give him too much credit. Jeez. But yeah, Terrence Steele.
He's snatched.
He is. Nice and ripped. Okay. All right. Terrence Steele, though, better run blocker than he is pass protector. And then I want to give him a lot of slack for coming back from injury last year. I still think I think he's a good player. He was really good, and I think it was 2022. And like there was a time where he earned the contract that he has.
Yeah.
Now, probably not so much, but again, I want to cut him some slack because of that injury. I don't think he's like a complete turnstile out there as a pass protector, but I mean, when we're getting beat by Kayvon Thibodeau with the game on the line, we're probably not the best in that regard, but he is a really good run blocker, especially in a zone scheme, which is why a lot of the moves that they've made in this offseason have kind of confused me because he's pretty athletic and he fits with wide zone very well. But I'm more worried about the guy opposite of him for obvious reasons.
But he's young. He's young.
Yes, and he was a project, and I would be really disappointed if they 6 weeks into the year like, okay, we give it up because that's a first round pick from a couple years ago. But I would also be like, if this dude sucks 6 weeks into the season, please get him out of here. Mm-hmm. Like that, I could see this being left guard through right tackle, a really good unit. You've got a guy who I think could be an all-pro this year at left guard. Your center, Cooper Beebe, pretty good player. He had a really good rookie season. Right guard, you take a first-round pick, Tyler Booker, who I think solid floor. Maybe he's not Zach Martin in the future, but he's a solid player. And then right tackle, same thing. Terrence Steele, solid player. But if your left tackle sucks, if Dak's blindside sucks yet again, I think this is going to be a pretty rough passing attack. But with that being said, they've got a lot of guards that can kind of step in and allow Tyler Smith, who was actually a tackle in college, to take his place. And I think that would be better suited if Tyler Guyton does end up coming out sucking in. But again, it would just be so tough to say. Back-to-back years, we took a first-round pick in the trenches, and they both were terrible.
Hey, whoa, hold on.
Big Mozzie Smith guys in here.
Hey,
we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
I
do think it'll be a good line now.
I do want to ask you though to expand more on your thoughts about Tyler Booker. How did you feel about the Tyler Booker pick at the time, and how do you feel about it now?
I was like one of the only people at the time to be like, "Hey, relax. All right, is this sexy? No, but I also, if they went up there pick 12, look, not the biggest Matthew Golden guy. If he got up there and said Dallas Cowboys select Matthew Golden, I would have been pissed. And a lot of people like to pretend that like losing Zach Martin, oh, we've got these UDFAs, we've got TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman behind them. Like they're UDFAs probably for a reason and haven't been playing probably for a reason. The same thing with the safety duo we'll get into it later, and I'll talk about them. Like these guys are okay in spurts, but like Zach Martin wasn't that great last year. They could have benched Zach Martin, probably not because he's a Hall of Famer, but there definitely could have been times where like, hey, Zach, take a back seat. We're getting blown out. Let TJ Bass come.
TJ Bass time. Yeah.
Which go Ducks, by the way. Another Duck.
Hey.
And I think these are good backups, but like you're asking these guys to come in and be day one 17 game starters. It's a risky move, and I think it was very safe of them to pick Tyler Booker because I thought of him as a safe prospect anyway. Strong guy, good anchor, decent pass protector. Probably not the best fit in a wide zone attack because he's not that great of an athlete, but in the gap scheme, he'd probably be pretty good. And so I think it's not an attractive move by any means. I'm definitely not disagreeing with anybody who thinks that, but I don't think it was a bad pick, especially considering, the kind of offense that they ran last year.
Yeah. I was originally kind of mean to Tyler Booker even before the draft. I remember I was kind of rude, but I even had a formal apology on here before that. I was like, I actually see it now. I see a vision, like especially on a team like this. Like imagine being like a 290-pound D tackle, just trying to, like, you're already struggling for strength, and here comes Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Booker, like the displacement that would cause,
Mhm.
unless they're facing a nose tackle, they're going to wipe you out off the field.
Exactly. And all the great Cowboys teams of the past, think of the Great Wall of Dallas, think of the mid-2010s, built on great offensive line play. And I'm not going to sit here and be mad at this front office and Jerry Jones, who I think gets a lot of hate, and rightfully so sometimes, for going in and trying to build a team the way that it has worked in the past. And you look at teams that have been successful over the past few years. There's a team 800 miles north in your division that just won a Super Bowl because they built up in the trenches. That's like, it's not a bad philosophy. A bad philosophy to me would be going out and taking what I thought at the time was a luxury in Matthew Golden. But yeah, I do think this is going to be a really good offensive line, even if Tyler Guyton sucks. There's a lot of, like, even I think Cooper Beebe could be a sneaky,
He is
second team All Pro kind of guy.
Hey, that's sharp.
With old boy Frank Ragnow gone.
Oh yeah. Creed Humphrey, and then it's Creed Humphrey automatically gets number one, and then it's a
couple guys in there, and I think Cooper Beebe could shoot himself up into that conversation, especially if Tyler Booker ends up being good, and you've got another All Pro caliber guy next to him. Could make his job a lot easier.
Yeah, I was happy to see Dallas go back to like true Dallas form. Like Dallas wins in the trenches, but like the interior, I still had some questions. Like I know they addressed Osa, and rightfully so. He was a beast of a pass rusher, but at that nose tackle spot, man, Cave has some strong
your guy
points.
though.
Hey, yes, Mozzie Smith.
Mozzie Smith.
I was talking about the other guy. You're a big fan of.
Oh, we have to talk about the king here on the inside in Mozzie Smith. Like, this is good. We're going into his third year, Mozzie Smith, right? This is the guy that was potentially the next Dontari Poe. I think he's well on his way. I think we have to look at this as objectively as possible. We have to be very appreciative of what Mozzie Smith is. And I think this season, year 2, year 3 especially, is when they're supposed to hit the ground running, these interior guys. And, if they can really kind of lean into Mozzie Smith's strengths, I think this year they could be one of the best run defending teams in the NFC because of Mozzie Smith and the anchor he could be on the inside.
Yeah,
right, Austin?
They'd be one of the best run defending teams if you flipped the EPA per play versus the run on RBDSM. Absolutely.
I was not being serious.
No.
We planned a Mozzie Smith propaganda.
I was looking around for the leave button. I thought I was getting trolled.
Before the show, we planned, just transition into a Mozzie Smith gas up segment. So
I should have like leaned into it, and all of us.
You're right. Player. He's the next best. He's the best nose tackle in the division.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, he's at least in the top 3 conversation.
Mm-hmm.
No, who is though?
USLA, the University of Cal in Los Angeles.
Jay Toya. My boy Jay Toya. I love Jay Toya.
I do too, actually. I didn't like him at first, and then he kind of grew on me.
He's humongous. First of all, so he already grew, and then he grew on you. That's actually terrifying.
It's like a Jonathan Hankins level of just massive, and it's like I had some gripes with him technically, and it was like and I really like the way he uses his hands, and then I stopped myself and I was like, the dude is like what 340. He looks like a bowling ball in the middle back there. If he's next to like Osa Odigizua, Micah Parsons, and Dante Fowler, you don't need him to be the best technical run defender of all time. I think he can have some sort of effectiveness just by being big in year 1, which is something that the Cowboys haven't had in years, which is a big dude down there, like a consistent presence in the interior with a good size that can play the run. They had Jonathan Hankins for like 1 year. But outside of that, there has definitely not been anybody, to much of the dismay of myself, that can stop the run.
Yeah, and like the one thing I can promise, like I can promise he might only have 3 pressures for his career. But what I can promise is he's not being moved backwards.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not moving him. Like at the very worst, he just lays on the ground and covers a lot of ground and mucks up the pile. He's not being pushed backwards.
Exactly.
I.e. Mozzie Smith. He's not a soft nose tackle. I don't know how those exist. But Jay Toya,
I will say, though,
Toya.
with Mozzie Smith, that coaching staff kind of screwed him at the time, drafted a dude to be a nose tackle, be a big, beefy guy who stopped the run up front, and they're like, drop 20 pounds.
That is dumb.
What do we I understand you want the guy to be a better pass rusher, but you've got Osa next to him. He could take the time to learn that skill. Don't be like, drop 20 pounds and become more explosive. No, how about gain 20 pounds and become even bigger than you are, buddy?
Right.
Or we're going to replace you with future Hall of Famer Jay Toya 2 years from now.
He may be. He might be.
Well, I did think that, especially now, hindsight speaking, that at 12, as much as I've come to kind of appreciate the Tyler Booker pick, especially knowing how Schottenheimer probably is thinking about this offense, and then they go and get Pickens, fine. You go with Tyler Booker, it makes sense. But I really thought Ken Grant would have made so much sense here too. Like, I think you can have faith in your room, but after, like you said, how bad they were at stopping the run, you'd have to flip the EPA numbers for you to trick someone into believing. Right. Yeah. So it's like he would have been, I think, so perfect for that inside. And I would trust Dak to make do with an offensive line that potentially could have been spotty without a Tyler Booker selection. And, they could have addressed it later on in the draft. So I thought Ken Grant, out of anybody else available at that spot, hindsight, could have probably been the best pick. So I'm still conflicted on the Booker selection because of that.
Dak's a guy that likes to get the ball out quick anyway. He doesn't need a bunch of time to sit back there and read the field. He's kind of a guy where it's like, he very much likes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right when I'm off my back foot, I want the ball to be out. I'm not sitting there, trying to wait for things to develop because, as he gets older, he's not like the most mobile guy in the world, which is interesting considering how he started his career. But yeah, him, Kenneth Grant, and then Shamar Stewart, FC.
Hey, FC.
Shout out to my
I've been here. He was my edge too. I was up there.
He was my edge too as well. I was praying that they would have taken him there. I knew they weren't going to, but he was top of my wish list. Him, Kenneth Grant, and kid from Ole Miss whose name is escaping me as well.
I'm talking about like Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan,
yeah. Princely Umanmielen. They had a million people actually.
Shout out to Princely Umanmielen. Commented on one of my TikToks.
Oh, really?
Somebody called him trash, and he was like, "Shut up." Hell yeah.
That's actually very on par with him. Actually, his whole thing was like he's kind of a hothead nutcase. So
I wish he would show that when defending the run.
Yeah, you wish, but that doesn't matter when you're a really good pass rusher.
True, exactly.
Which is, I think that's like the Cowboys' whole philosophy. It kind of looks like right
it
now.
Is, actually, it's been that way for 6 years.
But sacks are cool.
They are. Despite this team being as horrible as they were defending the run, even defending the pass, they were just a terrible defense in general. Still had the third most sacks in the NFL last year, 52.
Yeah. And then you brought in the greatest pass rusher of all time, Donovan Ezraku, right there. You are going over under 22.5 sacks rookie year.
Smashing the over. I'm putting my
what are we thinking?
on it.
Yes. Dude,
yes, because I put the Taggart curse on him. I was really thinking 3 steps ahead here. I'm like, this player sucks. Don't take him. That way he's another Hall of Famer to pair with Micah Parsons.
Well, the reason I love him, because I agree, he shouldn't be playing like 80% of snaps. He's not a great run defender. He's pretty average. But like Sam Williams is coming back. So I somehow didn't know you guys had Dante Fowler coming back.
Brought him back.
Yeah.
He had a sneaky double-digit sacks last year, right? I think 12.5.
He's been like weirdly productive.
Yeah.
Like he's not a draft. He was drafted really high, I'm pretty sure. But like no one calls him a bust because like he's just actually.
Yeah. It's going to be. Yeah, I think a lot of my gripes I've kind of calmed down with Ezraku. I don't think this is going to be like, the next. I don't know. Like, I didn't think he was an Abdul Carter type player, but like we're taking him in the 2nd round. Taggart, relax. All right. This isn't the 14th pick in the. Yeah, I would understand if you took him at 12. Be pissed off. It's 44, dude. Chill. If you get a good pass rusher at 44, you'll be all right. I understand that. I wanted to beef up the interior so much at the time, but you lose DeMarcus Lawrence, it's never a bad idea to get another pass rusher rotation in there. And I do think he's got a decent set of moves, not decent, a really good set of moves, probably the best or second best in the draft class. Maybe he doesn't have the athleticism to be the greatest edge rusher of all time. Maybe he's not the greatest run defender in the world, but like, I still think he's a good player. And you're talking about a team that has Micah Parsons on the other side of you. It's not like he's going to be getting double teamed all game.
No,
right? He's
never.
got a solid group around him. I do think he has a really good rookie season, considering his skill set and the kind of group that he has around him.
Yeah. And just looking at this defensive roster top to bottom, like even if it's not the best player in the world, like they're athletes all over.
Mhm.
Like Ezra is not the guy I need chasing you down to the sideline. We have guys for that.
Exactly.
Even guys like Osa, like he's a really good athlete for a D tackle. Mozzie Smith for a nose tackle, quotes, like good athlete. Like the issues might be elsewhere, but like everybody on this team can fly.
Yeah, they've banked on that the last couple of years of just take the best athlete you can, Micah Parsons, Tyler Guyton, even Tyler Smith, CD Lamb. Take the best athletic guy that you can and just kind of hope that you can develop him. Which, I mean, it's worked out to some extent. A couple 12-win seasons, a couple playoff runs. Maybe it hasn't turned into a Super Bowl just yet.
Hey, it's our year.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually the year we're going 17-0 winning the Super Bowl. I'm putting that out there right now.
I think Micah Parsons deserves. I mean, everyone talks about Micah Parsons all the time, especially because he's very loud. But he absolutely was, in my opinion, like the second best non-quarterback in football last year. Like he was phenomenal, and people don't really know that as much because he didn't play the full season. But his numbers were off the charts for the amount of games he played. Like I think he would have probably contended with Myles Garrett for Defensive Player of the Year had he been healthy the entire year.
Yeah.
So it really was that type of season from Micah, probably his best in terms of the games he played. Just unfortunately, he wasn't on the field the entire time. Like,
what's impressed me so much with him is how much better he's gotten as a run defender. I don't know if anybody has been around for a while, has been watching my videos for a while. The first video that ever blew up for me was a Micah Parsons video, and I started it and I was like, man, I just don't know about this guy as a run defender. And like gradually, as the video goes on, like you'll hear me actually start crashing out and realizing like, man, he's really not doing that bad. It's these idiots around him that don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm watching DeMarvion Overshown get shoved 5 yards by Cesar Ruiz like he's Joe Tooney. All right. He is so good. I remember the first game we played against the Bucks, his first, I think it might have been his second or his rookie season, or it kind of clicked for me like, this is a Hall of Famer. Like, actually, I've said that so many times, just jokingly in this segment or this episode, but like that is actually a Hall of Famer. Yeah. He's so electric. He's so fast. He's got such a deep bag. He does convert speed to power so well. He's not just like this strictly speed guy. He's so strong. He's this type of guy, and you've kind of seen it recently. Teams are going to try to replicate so much over the next decade. I think teams are going to realize there's really only one guy who does it quite like Micah Parsons.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going for that with Jalen Walker, just like that hybrid, converted linebacker turned edge rusher.
Yeah, there's going to be so many guys that you're going to hear like, oh, this could be the next Micah Parsons. I really think there's only one Micah Parsons. I think this is a special player. I don't think this is a guy who's ever going to be replicated, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I love Abdul Carter. He's a fantastic prospect, but like, I feel like Micah Parsons even got him higher on people's boards because they're like, well, shit, he did that. Abdul Carter.
They were the same number in college and they went to the same school.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's what it is. I think if you wear the same number as a really good player, that automatically reminds people of the really good player instead of who the actual prospect is. And then it just completely clouds the judgment.
The Jalen Walker comparison was always weird. Like I saw a couple people compare him to Micah and I was like, this is a guy who's like wins almost always with power. Why are we comparing him to like one of the most athletic, fast edge rushers in the league? I was not putting that together. And I love Jalen Walker, but I don't think he's Micah Parsons.
No, not even close. No, but like another thing, like you were mentioning DeMarvion Overshown, I didn't realize he's not back for a bit.
No, and that's what kind of worries about me. This entire team, the spine, I watch Mina Kimes a lot, and she talks about this, the spine of the defense, the interior of the defensive line, off-ball linebackers and your safeties. The spine of this defense is going to be terrible to start the year. Our linebacker duo, maybe Jack Sanborn could be okay in the Eberflus system, but outside of that, what is it, Kenneth Walker in 2025?
Kenneth Murray
in 2025.
I was told I didn't know ball because I said Logan Wilson was better than Kenneth Murray, and someone freaked out. Like, there's no way you think that. There's no way you think that. I was like,
I replied to a tweet one time, and it was like, it was somebody screenshotting the Cowboys depth chart, and I was like, "Good Lord, Kenneth Murray starting on my team in 2025," and someone was like, "You have no idea what you're talking about. He's actually good, brother." No, he's not.
he
Stop.
is horrific. He is capable of running in a straight line fast and hitting it hard.
That's about it.
So in Dallas, maybe he can get some manufactured touches as a linebacker. Hopefully that's a thing. But yeah, he can do what Overshown was doing, but he's not the athlete and he's not as fun. So
exactly.
no.
And Overshown improved a lot as a pass coverage guy, and even defending the run compared to what he was at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And he already came back from a huge injury one time. I don't think it's like a question if he's going to come back again and be effective again, because he is so fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a clip against the Browns first week of the season when I totally thought the Cowboys were back. Deshaun Watson is like trying to get out of the pocket, and I would say like Deshaun Watson is the right tackle, Overshown's at the left guard, and he hawks him down before he reaches the line of scrimmage. And it's like, I haven't seen that athlete at line because this is a team that also has sucked at linebacker for years. I haven't seen that kind of athlete at linebacker since probably Sean Lee. Maybe you want to argue LV, but I know Overshown's a better athlete than LV was.
Yeah.
And so when he comes back, maybe the linebacker core ends up being pretty good because Jack Sanborn, maybe he's like the thunder to Overshown's lightning, but I still don't think this is like Fred Warner. And a lot of names are escaping me right now.
Dre Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
I don't think this is like that kind of duo brewing here.
No, I mean, like I thought Shamar James was a cool prospect from Florida. Like he's a great athlete. Mm-hmm. So maybe if they're creative enough, something can get done.
Yeah.
But like the names we got going, Kenneth Murray is starting. Like that's really
Damone Clark.
Yeah, Damone Clark. Maybe this is his breakout year.
Sure.
In like year 4, this is his breakout year.
Does Old Man Buddy make the roster? Maybe Old Man Buddy will.
Old Man Buddy.
Buddy Johnson?
Maybe Old Man Buddy will
special teams.
Find the fountain of youth. Well, you need something. You're begging.
Maybe he's this year's Eric Kendricks.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, why not bring him back?
He'd be better than fucking Kenneth Murray.
Isn't he a free agent still?
He might be.
I'm pretty sure he is. So I don't know what's. Yeah,
I could see him wanting to go play for like a contender that needs a second linebacker, though.
What do you mean contender? We have a contender right here. This is their year.
We have the best defense in the NFL.
Yes.
We're going to be the top of that EPA per play against the run list.
Yes, with Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray's at the spine of this EPA turnaround. That sounds
great. And
Buddy. Buddy's gonna jump like 5 people on the depth chart. Just come right in. Is he even on the depth chart? I don't think he's.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah, he's way back there.
Don't disrespect Buddy like that.
On our LEDs, I have to scroll. To find him.
You got your shit zoomed in.
I'm split screening.
Oh yeah, fair. Sorry. Fair enough.
Oh man. Oh, we forgot to mention Solomon Thomas.
Oh yeah, he's actually not that bad. Sometimes
he exists.
Yeah, he is sometimes decent on the right. He's good when he's not a starter.
Yeah,
but he's not.
I will say this is a team that lost DeMarcus Lawrence, who's probably their best run defender on that defensive line. I'm hoping Marshawn Kneeland can try his best to replace that role, because I do think, especially when the Cowboys had like a really, really good defense, that was a big reason why having that kind of presence on the edge as a run defender. Marshawn Kneeland, I believe, going into year 3, maybe year 2. Maybe he can replace that role. And you could look at a team that's like not fantastic against the run, but considering this was like the 30th or 31st worst run defense in the league last year, if it stepped up to like 17-18, that's a massive jump. And all of a sudden, like that pass rush is allowed to be as dangerous as it can be.
Hell yeah. I'm getting excited now.
There we go.
Ken Murray. Marshawn Nealon. Yeah, Marshawn Nealon kind of has the same build as DeMarcus Lawrence, low key.
He does.
They're like 6'3", 270, like weird, awkward build, but it works. Like,
and he was also a good run defender in college.
Mhm.
Showed flashes in the league so far. Maybe he's just been buried behind DeMarcus Lawrence in that role. So maybe this is his time to shine.
yes, DeMarcus Lawrence has been ruining your team.
Yes.
It was supposed to be Marshawn. It was supposed to be Marshawn Nealon this whole time.
Exactly.
That's why him and Mike are beefing on Twitter, because Micah knew the whole time. He knew it was Nealon time.
I've actually never seen a player look more washed than when I saw him in the Seahawks uniform.
Yeah.
It's
like going to it's like an offensive player on the Titans. That might be like the new Seahawks on defense. Even though they don't even do that often, he just looks so washed. I know what you're saying.
I think it was like the way he was looking at the camera. I was like, pack it up, man.
No, I get that because there are some times where you see a player at the right angle and you're like, that looks like something. And it happened to me with Tyler Booker, and I told Austin this during the pre-draft process. He looked like, oh my God, and her name is slipping my mind again. It slipped.
Osiris Torrance.
No. You said that the last time I brought this up.
It was Roz from Monsters.
Yes. He kind of looked like her. Like, I don't know. I saw a picture of Tyler Booker at like the senior whatever camp it was, and he was just standing there, and it was like, that's her.
His post-draft interviews though, they have me bought in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude sounds like he's ready to run through a wall.
I also got Micah bought in too.
Micah hated the pick at first.
Yeah, he was mad. He was mad.
He's mad at everything. He is.
I don't think I've ever seen him be like, "Yes, we picked a player," unless it's the Eagles taking somebody.
Yeah, he has rabies. He'll get over it.
I think he was happy about Mozzie Smith actually.
He might have been.
Yes.
He's miserable. So
I think because the big joke at the time was now we can stop QB sneaks.
That's what it is. I remember that actually. I do remember that. He did like Mozzie.
Well, Jay Toya can stuff any QB sneak you throw at him.
That's who you need.
Basically Vita Vea, if we're being real.
Somebody made a TikTok and we're like, the Cowboys got the next Vita Vea.
That's just because he's
slow down.
It's just because he's 340 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. It's because he's 340 pounds and looks Hawaiian.
Yeah, he may be Tyler Kelvin.
He's got a bun, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't even think he is Polynesian or anything like that.
I don't know what he is. I was gonna say it, but
probably is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, and then I was like, "There's a whole lot. There's like Samoan, Polynesian. I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be wrong. So you know what? We stepped off that, but
let's dance around that.
Yeah. I'm voting for him for mayor of New York. And anything over Cuomo, but I did see another guy that I like. My boy Savone Revel. It's Savone, not Siobhan, for those that don't know, because I keep hearing him called Siobhan. But best corner in the draft lands in Dallas. It's incredible.
Yes, best corner by far. I actually had him really high on my big board. Actually, I think he was like 28th. I really liked him. I saw him in. I went to go watch UNT play ECU in 2023.
Oh shit, yeah.
Before he got injured.
Yeah.
And I was like, there was one player that this is, non-power 5 football. All these dudes suck in compared to like NFL players. But there was one dude on the field that I was like, hold on, this is something. And I remember like when I was going through players, during the pre-draft process this year, and I saw his name ECU, and I was like, oh shit, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy I saw. Little old me, 23, before he even started making videos, and was like, hold on, that's a pretty good player. Super long. Maybe not the best athlete coming off of injury, but I don't think he really needs to in this system, in an Eberflus system. It's not like a Dan Glenn system anymore. And the fun thing too is if Trayvon Diggs comes back from injury and is still good, which there's been some rumblings about whether that's going to be the case, Deron Bland is better in the slot than he is outside. I know he had broke the pick 6 record from the outside, but he started as a slot corner. And if he could bump back into the slot, that makes me feel a lot better about losing Jordan Lewis, who I thought, I was devastated when he left because he was one of my favorite players.
Yeah. And I did happen to see in Cave, maybe you could shed some light. They brought in a new starting perimeter corner per the Our Lads depth chart, Kyer Elam. Could you shed some depth on how your love for Mr. Elam?
Yeah. I'm gonna provide everyone with the hard hitting analysis that we've all been waiting for. He sucks. He really sucks. He's horrible. And the fact that he's gonna start week 1 for this team, either him or Andrew Booth,
Kalen Carson. Threw up.
It's gonna be a rough pass defense week 1, man. Like I'm waiting for Diggs. I'm hoping Diggs can play week 1, and if he can, I'm hoping he's back by like week 4.
Well, I never I've watched Bills games, but like I'm not Cave. I have not watched every Kyer Elam snap. Is there anything? Is there anything there?
I mean, he's got like
First round pick for a reason, right?
it's the the length is really what you're drawn to. That's really it. Like you're not going to play him in man coverage. I feel like you're not going to trust this guy to be maybe that handsy physical man corner that the Bills once thought in some miracle land he would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think his length could help him play to his advantage if he gets some better instinct in zone coverage. Like being able to be that tall and to kind of take away whole shots up the sideline. Like he had a pick against the Dolphins where he was able to kind of backpedal and end up really using his arm length, which I don't think a lot of corners would have been able to do, and come down with the football because he is so athletic and he is tall. So there's something to it in terms of the frame, which is of course the big thing with him, but you're not going to trust him to be what you thought he would be coming out of the draft. So
and that frame is kind of what Dallas has liked over the past couple of years. And another thing that they have liked former first round picks.
Yeah.
Former first round pick Andrew Booth.
Another awful player. He got cooked by Malik Neighbors.
I remember that. Oh my God. I show that clip all the time. I'm very pro Malik Neighbors. Like I'm very high on him. So like if I ever need to like state the case of why, I just put that clip in there. Yeah.
It's a good thing. I actually use the same thing when people are like, oh no, the defense is going to be good this year. I just show that clip. Yeah. Sure, man.
Andrew Booth has one of the greatest college interceptions of all time, though. I think that was him, wasn't it? Or was it? I think it was Andrew Booth. It was either Andrew Booth or was it Lewis Cine?
Lewis Cine was at Georgia.
No, then it was Booth. That one-handed pick. The one
I do remember that now. Yes, I remember that now.
One of the nastiest interceptions in college.
I always think of that kid from Oklahoma, whatever his name was, that the sickest pick I've ever seen. But
oh yeah, I do know what you're talking about because there's like only a couple that come to mind when I think about that.
He transferred to Utah State. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
but yeah, dude, this corner room has like fun names. Even Kalen Carson people were like, hey, there's something there. He's fluid.
That's another guy. Week 1, I was like, hold on. Maybe this defense is cooking something. And then I figured out they were burning the food a couple weeks later.
They burnt the shit out of it. That sucks. The only like reliable thing that we truly know about is the safety room. Like we know what the safety room is because it's been the same safety room for like what feels like my entire life. So it is kind of fun to see. I mean, some people love it. Some people are very, very indifferent.
I'm a big hater.
You're the first one I've met, but that's good to know.
I just think it's so mid. It's like I hated J-Ron Curse for a while. Too. Donovan Wilson, same thing. He's just like so whatever. He's not like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this entire defense is gonna suck because of Donovan Wilson. No, this defense is gonna suck, and Donovan Wilson isn't gonna make it any better. Everybody wants like Izzy McQuamu and Wanye Thomas to replace them. I've seen that a lot. I'm like, oh no, these guys are coming in. They're young guys. They're going to come in and replace him. This is a safety room that already, it wasn't like it was Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer up there, right? If these were just like replacement level players. If these guys were good enough to replace them, they would have done it already. Like we're talking about guys going into year 3 and 4 behind J-Ron Curse and Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. Not exactly all pros here. Like I don't think this isn't like college where it's like, oh well, we got to sit a freshman for a year, unless he's like otherworldly like Jeremiah Smith. We'll just redshirt him because we want him to be a little more developed. Like if you're good coming out of the league, odds are you're going to play like pretty soon, and if not, you're definitely going to be starting by year 2 or at least playing a big role. And the fact that these guys aren't is probably a telltale sign that they're probably just not that good. And even if they're not that good, they're probably just not that much better than Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. I don't think they're going to come in here and be like the safety duo of the future. I'm not that high on that. Like Wanya Thomas has made some plays sometimes. I think he could be a decent player, but that's about it. He's just kind of like a decent safety. He's not this other, I don't think he's the fix for the position, so to speak.
It kind of does remind me. I know you mentioned Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. It kind of does remind me of what the Bills have now. It's like,
Yeah.
it really is just that same. They get the job done. Like they'll have their blunders every once in a while, but they'll make a play here and there. But it's just mid. Like there's nothing to be excited about back there at all. Like, and that's exactly what it is going on in Dallas. To be honest, there's no star. They're just a duo that's there to kind of fill a position, and it's not bad enough to replace. So,
like every time I watched the Cowboys defense last year, and against the Saints, I was never like, this defense sucks because Donovan Wilson is like missing his gaps, or he's just like leaving dudes wide open. Like the defense sucks because they can't stop the run.
Right.
Like their interior defensive line duo is horrible at that. That's why they suck. And like maybe Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker look worse because of that, but they're definitely not making it any better.
Right. Exactly. But I do want to run a couple other questions by you since we're kind of finishing up the roster. So we'll start with the big, I would say the most controversial move of their offseason, and that was the promotion of Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, what were your thoughts on him being their choice after potentially Jason Witten, Deion Sanders? There were so many rumors of so many wild names, and they end up going in-house. So what was your reaction to that, and how do you feel now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a coaching cycle with a lot of good names that I would have liked. I really, really wanted Brian Flores, just because I think like he would mask a lot of the issues that the Cowboys have on defense. I really hated the signing at first because it was very Dallas Cowboys. It's very safe. Like we want the guy that we can kind of control, the guy who doesn't have an expensive price point, the guy who isn't exactly like, it's not a sexy hire. It's very Jerry Jones. It's very Dallas Cowboys post firing of Jimmy Johnson, right? It's like we're bringing in Bill Parcells because, he's a legend. We're bringing in Mike McCarthy. But the more I hear him talk, how he wants to structure this offense, how he wants to utilize motion, how he wants to make it balanced, and he brought in a fantastic crew of people. I really, really liked the Clayton Adams signing. A lot of people don't like Eberflus, but I think he plays a style of defense that a lot of the personnel that we have can survive with. And I became more optimistic about the future of this offense because I do think he has a good philosophy running. Whether it actually ends up being well in practice, I don't know. But like I was very pleased that in his pregame presser he wasn't like, yeah, let Dak cook kind of thing like he was with Russell Westbrook. Yeah, we're going to let Dak throw 40 times a game. Look, that's awesome, and I love getting Dak his stats. That's not what wins football games, right? The Eagles didn't win a Super Bowl because Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball 40 times a game. The Eagles won a Super Bowl because they bullied teams in the trenches. And that's exactly how I've wanted this team to structure itself over the past 5 years. And it seems like that hire is a step in the right direction, at least. He seems like he understands that's how you win football games. And whether it ends up working out, I don't want to sit here and like predict that. I don't want to predict him being terrible or predict him being good. I do think he could surprise a lot of people, though. I think a lot of people think the Cowboys are going to win like 4 or 5 games. I do think this is a team that's like hunting for the wild card spot. I don't think they're winning the division, but I do think this is a team that's like a lot more effective than people think they are.
Yeah. I mean, Shoddy is on one hell of a press run this offseason.
He is. He's been cooking.
It's crazy.
I hated it at first, and I was like,
he's got like I just saw something earlier where he's got Dak and Joe Milton doing like dance classes with their families together. Like he's so like sick. Hyping everyone up. Like this guy is on one hell, like I said, of a press run, and he seems to really be kind of changing the culture. I think culture is one of those things that really just depends on whether you're winning or not. I think it's a very overblown like idea. You have to have a good foundation inside your locker room, but the bottom line is if you're winning, you're going to have a very upbeat environment. So we'll see how it works out, but definitely for a guy that has not coached a game, as a head coach yet, he's doing a good job. So
yeah, exactly.
There's reasons to be encouraged, I would say.
And that culture is something over the last few years, at least with the Cowboys, like they've always been very upbeat, especially like obviously when they were winning and winning 12 games with Mike McCarthy, they were a very like tight knit unit, but you could tell this was a team that like they get punched in the mouth and it's over. You saw it in the Packers game. Like they get punched in that first quarter. And like, maybe if they don't let up 30 points, maybe that's a game that could come back. Dak played much better in the second half. That offense was much more effective in the second half, but they get hit and it's like, oh, it's over. They bring in him, and it seems like he's talking about making a tougher group. They bring in George Pickens, who doesn't seem like a guy. He's not a guy that's like just going to take a beating, and he's going to fight back. And maybe this is a team that is a lot more resilient than I feel like they have been, which like a lot of our star players, CeeDee Lamb isn't exactly the epitome of resilience, but like these are good players. And if you have people around them who like are culture pieces that can kind of build that toughness into the team, I think this is, I don't know. I'm just really excited for the season, which I know a lot of people don't think I am because I'm such a pessimist, but I'm just preparing myself for the worst. So that way, when good things happen, I'm super excited. I'm also cursing the team, so the opposite will happen.
I do that too.
I'm big braining this here.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Well, do you feel like on that note, you think that people are projecting them with 4 to 5 to 6 wins? Their win total, the Cowboys win total is set at 7.5, which I felt like was shockingly low. Like I think that's a smash over in my opinion. I know that they play in a pretty difficult division. They also have the Chiefs on their schedule too. So there's a lot of bumps in the road, but they probably deserve a little bit more credit than 7.5. So what were you thinking?
Yeah, I definitely, there's some fans that think this is like a 12-win team again. I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely think this is a team that can win 10 games. I think they win 9 pretty comfortably. They do have a tough schedule. Like I don't think they're going to come out and run through the division and run through all these good teams that they play and become a top 5 offense and suddenly have a top half of the league defense. But like, again, this is a division that still probably has 2 free wins in the Giants. They always split with the Eagles. They're probably going to split with the Commanders as well. They split last year, and both of those games Cooper Rush was playing. Well, one of them was Trey Lance, but the other one Cooper Rush was playing. Like I don't think this is a team. Everybody's down because it's the Cowboys. They have Sack Scott at quarterback. This team sucks. Who cares? The Cowboys suck. We all hate the Cowboys. Like I get it. I've become used to it. And like there are fans who think like, oh, this is our year. We're gonna win 12 games. I hate to be the guy that's like it's somewhere in the middle because I always am. It's somewhere in the middle. Like I think this is just gonna be like I think maybe they're a 6-7 seed. They're end up being pretty good, top 10, 12-ish offense, maybe top 20 defense. Maybe they're not stuffing the stat sheet like they have in the past, but I still think they're a pretty effective offense. Like I have a really, really hard time envisioning an offense with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and like barring injury, thinking they're going to suck because they haven't ever.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the first half of their schedule isn't even that bad. They get the Eagles, but then they really don't see anyone else that daunting. They get the Giants, the Bears, the Packers, the Jets, the Panthers, the Commanders, the Broncos, and then the Cardinals and the Raiders until the back half of their schedule kind of really stiffens up. But I mean, that's a stretch of games for 10 games where I could see them easily stealing 5 of them easily.
My worst fear is by like week 12 after that Las Vegas game, they're like 7-3, and people are like, oh my god, this is a Super Bowl team, and then down the stretch they win like 2 games. That's my worst fear. But like again, that would still be a successful season considering this isn't like the most talented roster in the world, and I think that would earn Schottenheimer an extension. He would get him another season at least.
Yeah, given the expectations right now, absolutely. And if they started that hot, I think we've learned. At least I'd like to think a lot of people have learned about who's fool's gold to start the year and who's not. Like, the Steelers were that a few years ago. It's a prime example. The Vikings, I thought, were that the whole time during their miracle run of a season. Even like the Cardinals early in Cliff's tenure when they fell off, even though I think that was probably the best team of the bunch I'm naming. But I don't think people would be thinking that of the Cowboys if they did come out of the first 10 games with 7 wins. I think you'd still have a good idea of what they are. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, because if they won those 7 games, it wouldn't be like, oh my god, they're crushing Philly, Detroit, Minnesota, and Kansas City. It's like they're beating Carolina, Arizona, and Las Vegas. Right?
Exactly.
I don't think anybody would be.
Relax.
Yeah.
Well, I really don't have any further questions or thoughts. Austin, do you got anything else?
Oh no, I at some point I did want to say Dak is better than Jalen Hurts. That is a thing I strongly believe, and I think that needs to be a thing that is well known.
I try to put my Cowboys bias to the side a lot of times. I don't want to be known as a Cowboys creator. And look, big Jaden Daniels guy. A lot of the Commanders fans think I hate him based on videos I've made in the past. I don't. I still think Dak is the best quarterback in that division.
Hey,
I respect it. I think I think he is better than Hurts.
A couple years from now, probably won't be the case, right? Especially if Jaden continues on that trajectory. But right now, I think he's still comfortably sitting in that top spot.
Word.
How old is Dak? Dak's what, 34?
He's a million.
I think he's 31.
He's 31.
He's a million years old.
I mean,
he sucks. He's Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
He sucks. Can't play playoffs.
Joe Milton.
Yeah, playoffs. Dak Prescott, idiot. It's every
average Dak TikTok
oh my god, I can't do it.
I saw somebody. Oh my! There was a video of some dude critiquing him. And he's like, he gets to the top of his drop and the ball's not out. It's like, yeah, dude, because this offense is horrible. Jaden Tolbert is running these routes, and he's like 3 steps behind the way he's supposed to be. This has been a problem his entire career. I'm like,
who does get the ball out anymore at the top of it? Really, like Tua, maybe. Like that's about it.
Yeah,
that's like really it.
The Shanahan tree. And even then, like Jordan Love loves to sit back there, bounce and just heave go routes,
waiting to rip the most devious thing he could possibly find. That's what he's doing.
Jordan Love's sitting back there, and he's like, "What's the dumbest shit I could throw?"
Back foot.
He's like, "Oh, this is a wide open player. How can I make this?" He's aura farming. He's like, "How can I make this easy throw as difficult as possible?"
Yes.
Do you guys remember that throw that he completed to Jaden Reed against the Rams? It was like
in the back of the end zone.
It was like it wasn't in the end zone. It was like a 55-yard throw. It ended up in triple coverage, and somehow it just went through like all of the defenders' hands right into Jaden Reed's lap.
He willed that to happen. He's that good. He has that much aura.
He knew that was going to happen.
Yes. Yes, his calculations.
The amount of times I see Jordan Love throw like a crosser over the middle, and it's like the dude's wide open. It's like off his back foot. Why?
Oh man. Well, I think that's about all we have for the Cowboys deep dive. So I do want to say, Tag, thank you for taking time.
Yes, thank you.
Wednesday night. Yes, it was a blast. So make sure you're checking all of his content out down in the description. Definitely worth a follow. Highly recommend if you're not already following him everywhere. Also, join our Discord server. Once again, that will be linked in the description. All of our other socials are down there as well. And we will see you in episode 42.